Hey, Raptor! I just thought of the best way to make money! Great idea, I promise.
Oh, and what might that be?
Hear me out. But we make a closed species.
Oh, a what?
A closed species! You make a species, and then you sell them to people. And not let anyone else use them. And that's how you make money, because then they'll want to buy it, because they can't make them themselves. It's a great idea.
That sounds kinda...
No, I already designed the species. I already designed it. Here, take a look. It's called a spider cat. It has a spider and a cat, and then you put them together, and you get the spider cat. It's a great idea. And get this. The thicker the ass, the rarer the species.
A spider cat?
Okay. No, please, no.
Ugh. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Raptor Complains About Stupid Shit That No One Really Wants to Hear About. Today is the topic of, you guessed it, closed species. It's in the title, so I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't guess it. But yeah, today we're gonna delve into the world of controversy. Get ready for some big backlash because of my semi-unpopular opinion. And I would like to reiterate that these are opinions. People listen to me because they like to hear bitches complain while they draw. Right? Can I get a hand up? Who's out here drawing in the chat? So whether you agree with me or not, I hope you enjoy listening to me complain anyway. We're gonna first start talking about species as a whole. Well, why do people create species? What are they in the art community? And why are they pretty interesting? Well, creating a species in an art community is essentially creating your own type of animal. Creating your own little unique design for some sort of species. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. You're creating a species, a fake, like a dragon is a fake species. Someone else is making, like, let's say, cat spiders or something, right? You know, cat spiders, haha. Cat spiders. I would never want to fucking make a cat spider, OC. Creating these little species will help, bend the mind a little bit. If you really spend time creating a species, then, you really are tugging on some, creative strings in your brain hole. And I do support tugging on your brain hole strings, As a matter of fact, I have made my own species for a novel of mine. And it's a very, very specialized species design. It's not like a open species where you can like make different types or of versions of the character. No, it's like a really one set, one and done design, kind of like a xenomorph. It's this thing, and this is a Foggerin, and basically it's this design. If you divert it all from this design of the species, then it's really not the species anymore, and that's why I'm able to own it, because it's just one design for an entire species. The only version is this version, so it's mine. It took me around 6 months to completely, create this species for the novel I was making back in the day. The novel is gone now. Don't ask for the novel, it's kind of cringy. I wrote it a long time ago. But I do like the design, and I do like the story. I might want to revamp it one day. But don't ask for the story, I'm not giving it to you, okay? So what's a closed species, alright? Before I explain it to you, some of you non-artist people might think that it's absolutely insane idea. Those of you that think you want to design everything you make, you're prideful about what you make and design. That's kind of the way I am. You think adopts in general are kind of ridiculous. But closed species is even more ridiculous in that regard, is where you can't even use the species itself unless you buy the species. Someone creates their own little like freaking race of animal, and then they're like, this is my race, you can't use it. Oh, but here's a bunch of different fucking types of this race that you can, buy from me and use, okay? I mean, I know some of you might think that's pretty ridiculous, but that's how it's done in the art community. And it's kind of like, when you think about it, it's kind of like a franchise, because you're putting your name on their species. Some of these close species are pretty freaking big, and then you get to like socially, legally own the character. You kind of have your own like, hey, look, I own this, and you don't, but you can't because you don't have the species. Haha, joke's on you. I mean, I kind of get the social construct of it, but at the same time, I don't care for it that much. No, I've seen a lot of really ridiculous closed species, like species that really don't look like they're at all thought out, planned through, and like even remotely like, let's take our time on this kind of thing. Like, for example, there's this group on DeviantArt that has this species called sushi dogs. Hang on, let me open this link so I can like properly verify what I'm saying. I want to make sure. Gallery, let's take a look at these sushi dogs. They're just kind of like fucking food themed dogs with really, really bright pastel colors. Like here's a Beans Batch 6. They're just kind of like food themed dogs. Like what genius thought of that, you know? Oh, I like sushi. Hey, I like dogs. Let's put those together and sell them and not let anyone else use them. You're a genius, Harry. What? Come on. I feel like this was like the species idea was thought up in around 10 to 12 minutes. That's a very specific time frame, but it just kind of comes off that way. Oh, see, look, that's kind of sushi-like. It has like spatter on it, sorta. I don't know. This is kind of redundant, in my opinion. If I want to make my own food-themed dog, I'll do it myself. You know, I don't need to buy a sushi dog. I can make my own food-themed dog. But the problem is, you might think I'm stealing a sushi dog because it's a closed species, and that's where the issue kind of might come into play. Someone might have come up with a type of food dog idea before you, and you might accuse them of stealing your species, right? I mean, I'm not saying it's happened, but it's, how do you dictate that? How do you control that? Is there like a specific set of rules? There probably is, and I just haven't seen it. Another example of really, really confusing and weird closed species is something called a Cinedog. One of my friends brought this to my attention, and I didn't even know what it was until they showed it to me. And I was absolutely dumbfounded when I found it. It's basically dogs with cinnamon roll tails. And they're like fleshy and chubby and stuff. There are some specifics. They have to be 200 pounds and they have to be a certain size. You're not fucking Dr. Frankenstein creating the species. You're drawing them. Alright, look at this. Hang on. This is interesting. Hi, I just got this Cinna from a close friend. Wanted to make sure this design was approved. Yeah, that design is blah 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 a while back. Yeah, make sure. You know what's funny? Someone could make a Cinna dog illegally, like they say, and then hand it over to a friend, and that friend will get what they call blacklisted for having a fake Cinna dog. Blacklist for these fucking accounts are absolutely ridiculous. It's basically a public, semi-public list of people who have broken the rules of the species. Either what it is, taking the species, or like selling the species, any of those things. I don't see the purpose of it. I do see the purpose of it, because we'll get into that in a minute. I will talk about that. But yeah, Cinedogs is literally just a dog with a swirly tail that's kind of shaped like a food. It's another food-themed dog. Can you believe that? It's a food. There's a very common type of species, isn't it? Huh? Like food-themed dogs. What's up with that? I mean, it's just a dog and food. It's not really that original, in my opinion. I don't think it really constitutes selling. Like, I could make a food-themed dog right now if I wanted to. I've seen some pretty interesting closed species before as well, actually. Telemus. I actually really do think Telemus looks pretty cool. Coming from a guy who doesn't care for closed species that much, these guys seem to have put a little bit of thought into their designs, just a little bit. It's basically television heads, which are pretty common, but they have this like gut belly kind of thing that just like is pretty unique and interesting and quite a bit. It's a defining feature. I can tell they put a little bit of thought into it. I'm not a fan of closed species. I've exclaimed this many times throughout the video. I don't need to explain it. Now this is a really big species that's going on around there called a protogen. Protogens are like semi-open, closed species. They're really big in the furry community. You've probably seen one if you're like a furry. A protogen is a robotic cyborg furry that is honestly really adorable. I love them, they're great. And even better, they're kind of an open species, which means you can make however many you want as you want. But the thing about protogens, right, is that they're at the same time trying to profit off of it by creating a like separate type of species called a primogen. And a primogen is the same fucking thing, just a little taller and a little longer nose and just more robotic parts. So with your primogen, right, the iconic head, right, that's really iconic. That's really what stands out with a protogen. You're gonna limit the way they can fucking draw the head with a primogen. You're gonna limit how many cyborg parts they can have with a primogen. What the fuck is the point of the protogen then? I don't get that. I really don't understand that. At least be a little, like, if you're gonna have it open, have it open. Please don't complicate things by making it semi-closed. Even weirder than that is that they have rare protogens. If you guys don't know this, you're actually not allowed to have wings on a protogen unless you buy a special adopt from it. Did you know that? I didn't know that. And when I read that, I was honestly surprised. It was actually quite astonishing. Really? So the thing I have with it is, you're giving us a species we can do a lot of work on, but you're yet at the same time limiting the amount of work we can do on this species. I mean, it'll cause for a lot of confusion, and yet at the same time, you have a blacklist, and the blacklist is full of offenders of such rules. Could you imagine if someone making a protogen, not knowing the rules, making a protogen with wings, maybe, or mistakenly making a primogen because they didn't realize there's a whole other friggin' species for it that's closed, and then being threatened to be put on a blacklist and having to change their entire character just because of it? Why? 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 Seriously, why? Hang on, I have to undo what I just typed on my iPad. Undo. Okay, there we go. Open, and there we go. Alright. Here's something that I read, that I found that's very interesting about protogens. On the FAQ, it's asked, what happens if I become blacklisted and I own a rare protogen or primogen? It says, you will get to keep the character. Yeah, alright. Because if you try to steal it back, could you imagine how much shit you'd get? But it becomes invalid. What does that mean? You will be put on our master blacklist publicly, a public blacklist, with an image of the primogen or rare protogen as well. Yeah. Hey, look at this. This is a guy that broke our rule. Fucking harass him. Get him. Get him. Shoot him. Aspects of the design can be taken back as it would be deemed an invalid character design. What? Are you telling me they can take aspects of the design you bought and then just resell it? That's kind of fucking... They paid for that. I mean, it's not like, whatever, do what you want, but... Really? Really? Therefore, certain aspects of the design can be used for future primogen. Just make new aspects. It doesn't seem that hard for you. Alright. But yeah, why the hell... What I don't understand about a closed species, right? Let me get into this really fast, because it's quite confusing. Tech, my blue and red lizard, cute little lizard. Everyone loves him. I love him. He's amazing. Let me show you him real quick. Let me put him up here quick. Techie here, the blue and red lizard, is not necessarily a lizard. He is sort of an Argus monitor that has horns. He's kind of like a dragon lizard, if that makes sense. Kind of like a kobold from like Dungeons and Dragons, right? But he's not a kobold because he's designed after an actual lizard. Now, what's to stop me from making this a closed species? Nothing. Nothing's to stop me from making this a closed species. I could take this idea, this premise, a half lizard, half dragon, and give it a little bit of a spin, some kind of special spin, and I could sell it closed. Not let anyone make something similar to this, right? I mean, this might be a big generalization, but this That seems like a really easy and strange way to make money. I just wanted to put that into perspective because that's what I don't get. And you have a fucking hold on the social community. You have a huge hold on it. Now with that will come hate, right? This is where I'm coming from with this. You can make whatever you want and sell it. That's why you get hate sometimes. That's why we don't understand. You guys don't understand why it's disliked this much, and this is why. This is why we think it's strange. Like the spider dog, spider cats. I'll make a spider cat OC, and I'll make sure no one can use it. Ha! Get wrecked, Garfield spider cat? That was mine. Ha! Can't make that, ho. But yeah, that's interesting. And the thing about blacklists, let me talk about that. The reason species owners make blacklists is because they really don't own, they're not on the side of the law when it comes to these closed species situation. The law doesn't protect species. It doesn't protect a method of creating a character. It can protect a character on its own, it can protect a design on its own, but it can't protect aspects of a design. For example, those horns that I had on tech, that's not protected. I mean, just those horn sections. That's it. That's not protected. The concept of the dogs and food being put together is not protected. On Cinedogs, the swirly tail, that's not protected under copyright. But if you had a specific design for it, brown, white, sprinkles, a tail, all those things together, yeah, you might have a copyright infringement on your case, but just the simple aspects on their own, that's not protected. And that's really what prevents closed species, the concept of it, from being protected under the law. Because you cannot copyright a process of doing something artistically. You can't copyright a single bit of a character. You have to do the whole picture, the whole thing. And that's why xenomorphs are able to be copyrighted, because they're very specific designs. If you make something that diverts away from a xenomorph, it's not a xenomorph anymore. And so it's not canon, non-canon. And so it's not, you're not going to get copyright. But if you draw exactly what the xenomorph looks like, because there's only one design for a xenomorph, you might get in trouble for it. And that's why my species, my alien species, is specifically designed. This is the species, and that's all there is to it. There's no other diversions from it. There's nothing else that makes it the species. Now maybe the male and females will have a little tiny difference in their fins, but those are two designs that I own. Those are two separate designs. And that's kind of what I feel like is important when you're making closed species, if there's anything to walk away from. I don't understand them personally, but if you do want to make a closed species, I would hope that it's well thought out, and I would hope that it has some uniqueness to it versus like, let's combine an animal with fucking food. But yeah, that's my take on it. I appreciate you listening to me ramble on about some bullshit you probably don't care about my opinion on, but I said it anyway. Thank you very much for watching my rant XD. Adios, muchachos. I'll see you in the future. Back to the future. Yo, what up, dog? Hey, you just posted cringe.